Hey Moonies, welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with comedian, podcaster, and YouTuber Kyle Lewis. He co-hosts the pop culture podcast Anything But Generic. He's also the co-owner and creator of Click Productions, which is home of The Fun Factor, a YouTube gaming series which features entertainers and comedians playing video games and talking about life. It sounds pretty awesome. So I'm so happy that he's on the podcast, and I'm really excited to talk to him about all things that he's doing and Sailor Moon, of course. So, hey Kyle.
Hey, Victoria, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
I assume people are listening and are like, hey.
Right, yeah. At first, I was kind of expecting a response for some reason for a little bit, and I was just like, wait, that's not happening.
I feel like this quarantine has put me in a Blue's Clues mode where I'm just talking out loud to people who cannot hear me, and just I'm expecting a response, and I'm just like, okay. That's how Zoom comedy shows are. You turn into Steve, and you just say something and no one responds to you. Then you talk to the salt for a little bit.
You know, that makes a lot of sense because I have been way more excited about my mail lately. Like, something new.
See, you get it now. Like, he was so hype about mail.
Yeah.
He had a song and everything.
Mail and never go. Yeah.
He'd be like, I can't even do it right now.
Yeah.
But he would get hype about it. Every episode.
I get it now. Yeah. I do get it. I'm like, oh my God, an Amazon package.
Exactly.
Something new in my day.
I wonder what actually, does he get more like green shirts? Does he get like more talking salts? Point. Like, I don't know what he gets.
He always just got like video mail, which was weird. But yeah, he would have to get some green shirts at some point because like he wears them every day.
Yeah, you got to restock.
It'd be kind of messed up if he, resalt. Yeah. What if, oh my God, so I'm going on this tangent, but like, what if salt, like, if he doesn't fill it up in time, like, what if that's the way salt and pepper die?
Oh no.
Yeah. I know. I don't know how I went there, but it's just because he said, he has to refill the salt. And I'm like, what happens if he doesn't? Yeah, he has to do it.
But does he even use the salt? Does he have a salt that's like inanimate salt that doesn't like talk? And then he has the talking salt. Like, I can't use this. This is like my friend. Right.
That would be weird to use that. Although that's what they did on Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I'm here for. Use me. I taste great.
Or maybe it just never runs out.
Maybe.
It's like magic. Because, I mean, they got together and made paprika, so anything's possible.
They did. I mean, if they were able to hook up. I don't know how that works anatomy-wise, but they did it.
And they apparently made a whole different, like, they didn't even create, like, a salt and pepper blend. Baby? They were like, nah, we're going to make a paprika.
Like how a nice mix. It's like, okay, damn.
How does that work?
They get it in.
Yeah.
Could learn from them, Steve.
That's a good point. But yeah.
Starting off
this
strong.
is a Sailor Moon podcast. Yes. Although I could do a Blue's Clues podcast because I love Blue's Clues. Steve Veers only. The new guy, though, I hear is good, but
yeah, I'm sure. I think it's just not for us. We're
that's
older,
probably
so.
it.
I remember they brought like his friend, like Justin, or like his
Joe.
Cousin or something. Joe, and I was like, well, I should have not been watching this like years ago anyway. So I guess it's the perfect time to check out.
It was around that time where I was probably too old to be watching it, or at least, where I was old enough where I probably wouldn't enjoy it anymore. So that definitely probably played a part in it because I just remember being like, who's this dude? Like, Joe.
Don't just introduce this guy and leave. Like,
right.
You're just going to leave after that?
I know. Like, we had years together.
Right.
Steve? Yeah. Especially because, like I said, I was probably like 10 or 12 at that time, which is like, all right, time to let go of the Blue's Clues.
Yeah. Move into anime and all the other stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's when I started watching Claymore. So it definitely made a big turn.
See?
Yeah. But so the first question I usually ask everyone, besides a bunch of Blue's Clues lore, is what's your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
My first memory of watching Sailor Moon is actually it's pretty random. I remember seeing the toys and commercials, and I was still like a boy, and I was like, "What is this show?" I'm still a boy, but I was like, "What is?" Like trying to.
You're
like,
a lad.
A lad, kind of liking it but not liking it, and like not wanting to get into it because of gender stuff. But then I remember there were commercials for it on the USA Network, but you never knew when it was actually on. It would just be on commercials for it. And I remember one day just catching it on USA. It was the episode, I believe, somebody said the art, like, Sir, I'm gonna call her Serena in this parts in the U.S. That's what I'm gonna call her, Serena.
Oh yeah.
No, it was
interchangeable.
Serena / Usagi and her like artist friend, and they fought like a feather monster, and like the feather monster kept dropping bricks on her, or like rocks and stuff on her, and they won and all that other stuff. But I was like, I need to see more of this, and it would come on at like 6 a.m. after that, like a year later on our local channel, and then Toonami picked it up, and the rest was history.
Right. I mean, so it was like local channel, like UPN, like that equivalent.
Yeah, like WB, UPN. It would be like Sailor Moon, RoboCop. I think Pokemon came like a year later, but like they would show like the original like 60 something episodes before like looping over again.
Yeah, I love that you remember it was like a feather monster.
Yeah, I just remember it being like it was like an artist, so like he would draw like the rocks and stuff. I just remember, and then like the American Serena voice would be like, "Ooh," and do the weird noises that she made that I absolutely love. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what makes the original 90s version anime so unique. Just for that outlandish kind of behavior, like the facial expressions and the sounds. Yeah,
they especially the original, not the original, but the second one, Terry Hayes, I want to say. I might have said that wrong. Hawks. Terry Hawks.
Yeah.
Terry Hawks. I think she was just so good at that voice. And maybe it was just perfect for the 90s. Maybe, you know, with the actual like script, it would be kind of weird. But I think she just did such a great job of bringing that character to life and bringing that character to a new audience in the States. Yeah. And everyone else too. But yeah, she did really well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I really enjoy her voice. So what were you thinking at the time when you're watching it? Like, how did you feel?
I was like, what is this show? It was just like, it's weird. Because the only anime I used to watch before that was Speed Racer. And I thought Speed Racer was super cool. Yeah. I am showing my washness.
That's different.
But yeah. I used to think Speed Racer was cool. And then so I watched Sailor Moon, and I was like, oh, it's all right. But I knew I couldn't like catch it again. And then then it would start coming on like the local channels in Cartoon Network. And then I just got like hooked into it. I would record them all the time and just replay them over and over, the tapes over and over again. I would find like the games, the old Super Nintendo ones, and like play those with the translations, and I was in.
Man, I'm jealous. I've always wanted to play those games, but I didn't figure out about them until later, and then I've just become a jaded adult and haven't been able to like get the emulators and everything together to
I wish they came out here. Like, somebody make that happen. Like, we got like Nintendo Switch online.
Right.
Like, just port it over. Like, we're in quarantine. What are we doing?
Not doing the right thing, apparently.
Exactly. Making all these Mario games. Doing all this Mario
right. stuff. Give us Sailor Moon.
Right? Yeah. Shout out to Mario.
Yeah, no, I love Mario too. Did you have a favorite Sailor Scout?
I did. I like my top three are the first three, like Moon, Mercury, Mars, and it always interchanges. Right. Like, sometimes I love Mars, and sometimes I love Moon. Since I love Mercury. Like, later in life I got into Sailor Venus, even though she was like kind of like ditzy and just kind of like boy crazy after a while. But like when I was younger, I just like didn't really care. But then like kind of rewatching it and like seeing like some of the stuff that she says and her like love for being like an idol. I don't know. I find it funny. Who else? And I gotta show love to Jupiter too. I'm like everybody but Jupiter though. But my top three were Moon, Mars, and Mercury.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just from them being introduced first, I think they always kind of stand out a little bit. Because they're kind of on their own for a little bit.
Yeah, they were there for a while. You had like a good like 30 episodes of them, and then they were like, "Here's Lita."
I love the exaggeration, but yeah, for sure.
Here she is.
Here you go. Let's throw you another part.
Oh, that's the one from the opening. That's always the funny thing about anime openings. You're like, oh, I guess that's the character from the opening now.
Right. That's always, I always try to watch the openings like, okay, who is here?
Yeah.
And then for some reason I always forget until I watch the next opening and I'm like, oh, that's that person. I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, oh,
he's doing the
pointing
point. Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, they finally made it. They're not a villain.
Right. Yeah.
I remember a quick tangent. The Dragon Ball, at least the American Dragon Ball Z opening, they just spoiled everything for you. Like they just like all the there's like 3 Super Saiyans in it, and like you know you're just watching it for the first time. You don't know what that is, and then like you eventually find out. You're like, oh well, I guess okay. It's not that big of a deal. They were in the opening for 60-something episodes.
I feel like anime's so bad with that because even like the episode titles like always give away this like what happens in the episode. They'd be like, so and so dies. I'm like, oh, I guess so and so dies in this episode. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, Sailor Mars dies. The fallen fire flame will never be extinguished. What?
I'm like, okay, I guess no more Sailor Mars. Right? Thanks for letting me know. I forgot how, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I guess I have to watch. Thanks.
Right. I actually thought about, you said you recorded them. Do you have any episodes that really stuck out to you?
Episodes that really stuck out to me, I was a big fan of Zoisite, and this is a fun story. I like, you know, you have your anime crush, especially when you're younger. I loved Zoisite. I thought, like, I loved the voice, the laugh, and all that stuff. And then my friend, like, because I was just gushing over Zoisite one day, and he was like, you know, it's a dude in the Japanese version, right? And I was like, no, it's not. And then, you know, you look it up and you find out, and you're like, oh my god, like I had no idea. And you know, it's cool. But I definitely had like there's the earlier episodes with the Negaverse and especially the Zoisite parts. I thought like she was the coolest, or I thought Zoisite was the coolest. And I was really bummed when she got sent to the next dimension.
Oh yeah, that was heartbreaking for Kunzite. I was like, "Aw, making me feel for villains." I think Sailor Moon was the first anime that made me feel sad for villains.
They did a good job of making you feel for villains, except for like Jedi. They were like, "Run him over with a plane." Like no one cares about him.
I did not care for Jedi. Yeah, that's true.
I liked him too, but he just like I like the 4 of them together, and then they just kind of they all. I mean, that's what they were there for. They all lost. One random one that always sticks out in my head is when I like that I'm gonna keep using the American names.
Oh no, go for it. Like when, I interchange it. It's hard with Sailor Moon because there's different names, there's different genders, there's different
exactly. It's changing all the time. When Darian and Serena take care of the baby, like they're not on speaking terms, but they take care of the baby, and that one's just always sticking out in my head.
That one, I really love that episode too.
Yeah, fun filler.
It's fun. Yeah. I love a good fun filler.
Right.
So you're a comedian.
I am.
When did you decide to become a comedian? Like, what's your origin story? It's a comedy.
My origin story 1,000 years ago on the moon. No.
Okay.
In all seriousness, I always like making people laugh or being entertaining, or at least writing like funny stuff. Like I used to write like parodies and send that stuff out, like the email and stuff to friends, or like just like say like silly things with friends. And then one day I was doing like a tedious job, and I just kept thinking about stand-up, which is like interesting because I watched stand-up, but it was never something that I thought that I would pursue. But it was one of those things like, you know, I could do. It's like I was coming up with like jokes in my head, and then it was like, you know, when you think of like something you think you would do, and you're like, I'm never gonna do it. And then the opportunity came up. I was taking writing classes, and then the opportunity for an improv class came up. So I did the improv class, but everyone in that improv class was a stand-up. So I was just telling them like, you know, I've thought about it, but I don't think I'll do it. And they were like, you should try it. And luckily I tried the stand-up class, which sometimes people frown upon that. They want you to just go and do it. But what I like to say, the stand-up class will teach you to not suck for at least 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you have the money for it, you at least have 5 minutes to go up there and see if you actually like it, see if that's something you want to do. And if you never do it again, that's fine. But you can you can knock it off your list, or you can find something very passionate that you like to do. And I remember doing it. I remember doing a mic first because they encouraged doing an open mic first. And I remember being so freaked out because right before I was going to go up, some other person said a Tinder joke. And I was like, no, but I have a Tinder joke. Like, super new to comedy, not realizing that everyone in the room had a Tinder joke.
Right, yeah.
You were not that original. So I remember then, like, changing it up, like, real quickly and, like, getting laughs, and it felt good, and then getting laughs on the big show that we did, and I just wanted to keep doing it from there.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, first I didn't know there were stand-up classes, and it makes sense that there are.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in New York. I mean, now a lot more, like, digitally, more, like, on Zoom and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
which I
really
hope aren't
cool.
the same price. I haven't looked into them.
Probably are.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Capitalism. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. But that is cool. I could see how that would benefit, like, if you to not suck for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and
that's
if you
a
have
really
like
good selling point.
As long as you're not talking about like the royal wedding and stuff from like 2015, you can have a set for life if it's basic.
Right.
You know? Basic in a good way, not like basic. Evergreen is it's the polite way of saying basic.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. And I noticed like you mentioned like you've been doing Zoom comedy shows. How's that been?
It's different. I don't think I like them. But it's definitely different. I do miss actually like hearing people and seeing people, and sometimes you do hear people on Zoom, and it feels good when you hear people on Zoom. But you just kind of adapt a little bit. You just have to adapt to it and act like you want to be there, and then people will treat it like a comedy show, you know. And I feel like that's right now in New York. There's a lot of outdoor comedy shows, and that's great if you're comfortable going outside and doing that. That's awesome. But I know it's gonna get cold again, so I feel like Zoom's gonna get on the rise one more time, and you're gonna see another rise of Zoom shows until the spring.
Well, they're like Zoom will rise again.
Like the Negaforce, it'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll be back. So excited and Zoom.
Nice, I would love it.
Zooming in from the Phantom Realm. That makes sense. I was wondering about that because I heard about Tiffany Haddish. She did an outdoor concert or show, and she was saying it was hard for her because everyone's mouths had the masks on, so she couldn't tell like if they were laughing or not.
Yeah.
And so it's
just a bunch
like,
of muffled loud.
Yeah, it's just like so many things you don't think about until we're in this situation. What do you think is a big misconception about comedians?
A big misconception about comedians is that we're all depressed and sad. I don't think we're all depressed and sad. Everyone has their moments, but I try and tell jokes about just my life, like dating. I have a bit about like Sailor Moon. Unless that's a sign of depression to people. But yeah, people think you're depressed, sad, that they're not caring either. A lot of comedians, they definitely do roast each other. Especially sometimes when you want to be serious, you want to throw their jokes in. But I think when things get real serious, comedians, and including roast comedians in general, will be the first people that'll step up to help you, step up to reach out and make sure everything is good and you're okay. And they can be a very loving and tight-knit community.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was definitely a misconception I had, so I learned something because I've always felt journalists and comedians are kind of close in that way because journalists are definitely depressed.
Not saying there aren't out there.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone is depressed.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think it's just, people who have to understand the world more than most people do on a like daily basis. Just like it can get kind of sad.
No, absolutely. You're looking at whatever's going on in the world, and it's hard to separate sometimes or find the funny in that. I know a lot of people who are great at political humor. I have a couple political jokes, but I don't think I don't see me being like a Colbert anytime soon because I'm just too angry when I see the news. Like all my things will be like, "What the hell is this?" Like that's not funny. That's just me being mad at the world.
Yeah, which is also understandable.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. Sorry, guys.
No, I was just saying, like I mean, if you can do it, more power to you. But if not, I got these Sailor Moon bits and bits about having a nut allergy.
Yes, I have watched both.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's part of the process. I love your Sailor Moon joke because it's so true. It's basically, let me see if I get this joke right. So, like, it's like you were attracted to Sailor Moon when you were a kid. Then you rewatched it as an adult, and it was like, "Oh, this is weird."
That's pretty much, That's pretty much the gist. Because we were the same age when growing up, but she was a little older when I first started watching, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great." She transforms, she gets naked, all of them. It's awesome. And then it was on Hulu, so I'm like, "Yeah, I love this show." And I'm a grown ass man now. They're still kids, and you're like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
I'm
not
out.
great.
Yeah. You also have to be wary of the people that like. When it's Rini Chibiusa, people are like, well, technically she's like 2,000 years old. Like, no,
bro.
I'm calling the feds.
Yes, immediately.
She looks weird. 8. She acts 8. She's 8.
Right.
Stop it. Stop drawing her that way. People, I'm such a fan of it. It's a different conversation.
It is such a thing. I'm sure a lot of anime fans have to deal with. 'Cause even like Yusuke, he's like. I think he's like 14 or 15 too, and I know like a lot of girls are attracted to him, and now it's like, oh, okay, this is weird. Now I can't.
I think everyone just like puts because they're not real. They just put anime in its own category where it's like, well, they look like adults, and like, well, they're still kids. Like you probably should be very careful with what you're saying. Yeah, but anime fans gonna do anime. That's what they do.
Anime is its own world, but it is. It was a funny joke though. I thought because it's so true. It's like how do you reckon with this, and you just don't do it, and you don't be attracted to them.
You're like,
they are children.
Exactly. They're talking about junior high problems,
right?
Like no,
this should not be something you are interested in anymore.
No, not at all. I know My Hero Academia is the new one where people are shipping, and I mean everyone gets shipped, but people are making their like. I love these two together and da 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 da. And you're like, okay, have fun. Yeah. Just don't hurt no one.
Right. I mean, It's a interesting space.
I agree.
But do you watch other anime? You mentioned My Hero Academia.
I do. I watch My Hero. I gotta watch the They released a couple of OVAs. Gotta watch those. Dragon Ball Z became like Sailor Moon. Speed Racer and Sailor Moon got me there. And then Dragon Ball Z like kept me there, as basic as it is to say now. Like I was so obsessed and still am to this day on this show and this franchise. I buy the games. I got a couple. I don't buy that many action figures, but I got a couple of the Android action figures that came out recently. I dressed as Goku for Halloween. Like that was like the show, even though Vegeta's my guy. What else am I watching right now? Awesome. God of High School. God of High School is newer. I've been really into that. That's been a lot more fun to watch. Konosuba, I gotta watch the movie, but like I thought that one was really good. And a bunch. For the fun factor that you mentioned, we rewatched Evangelion. The first time we watched it, it was like 2002, and like. It was a long time ago, and then Netflix redubbed it, so we watched it over, and it was our first like big reaction, and that actually is what got people to check out the YouTube, because people were like really into us reacting and just trying to be funny while watching it, and it's been cool. And there was stuff that was still very surprising because you don't remember everything when you were like 16.
A lot of stuff goes over your head too.
Exactly, especially in that show. So, and then I never saw the movies, so that was brand new, and those still continue to be very, very popular for us on that channel.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I had to check that out. I love that. I did end up rewatching it too when it came out, and I think I watched it when it first came out in like 2002. But like same with you, I don't remember anything I didn't remember anything about it. Like, I didn't remember the characters. I didn't remember the story. I was just like, what is this?
They look familiar.
Right. This kind of looks familiar. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. I gotta check that out too.
Is there anything I should be watching that I'm missing out on right now?
Well, I don't know about things that are out now, but I always recommend Madoka Magica to people who like Sailor Moon, because it's just like a it's kind of flips the genre. People say a lot because it's a dark magical girl series. I'm putting quotes in the air you can't see, and yeah, it's just like kind of deals into like the PTSD element of it, and just like the toll it takes on like these girls who are like super young and like fighting these villains, and having to juggle having life and dealing with evil monsters on a daily basis. That sounds
really cool, actually.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So yeah, I always think if you like Sailor Moon and you like Evangelion, it's something you might like.
Get that Madoka Magic in there.
Yeah, it's great. I'm trying to think. Did you read the God of High School webtoon before you started watching, or you started fresh?
No, I started fresh. Cause I know Crunchyroll was making a bunch of originals, and that one just like stuck out to me. I don't know, maybe it was just like the fighting or whatever. And because I know they had like Tower of God and some other stuff, but that one I was like, oh, this looks cool, and I didn't know when it was coming out, and then it came out, so I was like, I'll check this out, and it was exactly what I enjoyed, and then it even picked up even more. Like, it's one of those animes where you're like, all right, they're friends, everyone's having a good time, and then like by like the 5th episode, you're like, what the hell? Like, like everything's changed, but I'm okay with it.
Right. What happened?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said about Dragon Ball Z too, I think, or Dragon Ball, I should say, it's definitely a gateway for many of us. So totally cool. I feel like it's our generation's like General Hospital, or like days of our lives. Like we've just been following this for really so long.
Because like I think younger, like people who are a little younger, it's Naruto for them. It's not Dragon Ball.
Right.
Like I was actually trying to figure this out myself. I don't know how people get the Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball in general to this day, because we had so many, especially back in the 90s, we had so many different weird dubs of that show.
Yeah.
And like even like watching some back, like some were very cheesy. Like the ones on Funimation are not that, the voice acting and the dialogue's not great. And I'm not like a snob about this stuff. And then there's you can watch Dragon Ball Z Kai, I guess. If you want it to be a little bit better in terms of voice and dialogue in English at least. But I also like, I guess my nostalgia, I like the one that was on Cartoon Network with the American music, the Falconer music and all that. So when I hear like the one on the Funimation app and they have the Japanese music, which is great.
Gets you hype.
Do not come back. Which is great. I do like my like American synthesizers though, and I wish there was an option for both, but that's just me.
That would be cool if someone combined both of them. Yeah,
it would be dope. I know on the DVDs they have the option, but I think legally they can't put it on streaming or whatever. But if anyone is listening, or when you guys do listen, and you got the Dragon Ball Z late, please tell me how. I'm very curious how people do it to this day, because I don't think I would get into it like at this time, because it's so different.
Yeah, I know a lot of people got into it through Super, and then I think some younger generations than us, probably like Gen Z, I guess, got into it through Kai and GT.
Okay, yeah, a lot of younger generation like GT, and it's funny because like, GT was like hated. It was hated so much by people.
It was so bad. That's
fine.
when I stopped watching.
Like I watched it recently, as in like 6 months ago or so. I'm like, like it's not great, but it's not like the end of the world.
It was just too much, too different. I think at the time people are like, what?
Yeah, pivoting from like the end of Dragon Ball Z to like, okay, we're gonna go back to this, and
Goku's a child.
Yeah, you're like what? Okay. And they say it in the rap, like, oh, there's a rap now.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think too is that I forgot what it was, but they had like that YouTube, the bridge, Dragon Ball Z bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I think that probably brought a lot of fans.
You're
too.
right. Dragon Ball.
That was
Shout out to Team 4-Star. I know they don't do that anymore, but they were so good at it.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, those were iconic.
Love
so
it.
I could see a lot of people people getting through to Dragon Ball through that for sure.
Yeah, it makes you want to check out the original. So
yeah,
and the games. But
oh right, Budokai and stuff.
yeah, they got like 8 million games.
Yeah,
a game comes out every 5 minutes. Sailor Moon needs more games. I think because like Dragon Ball Z gets games all the time, and then they're making games for like One Punch Man and all that stuff. Like, why can't we have like an updated like Sailor Moon RPG, or like the way they did Kakarot, the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, where you like can switch off and you can be like Moon and Mars, Mercury. Like, let's make it happen.
That'd be so cool. I forgot the game that just came out, but it was like Jump Force.
Yeah, Jump
They
Force.
do. You can like create your own character, and they have the Sailor Moon hairstyle. And I was like, I guess I can settle for this.
That's always the worst. When you just like create a character, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess. I like they do that in the WWE games a lot. Sometimes a wrestler will be missing, and then like you can make them like you have everything you can to make them, but they don't have their name. So instead of like Sasha Banks, you gotta be like Stacy Barks, and you're like, that's not her name.
Right. I know this isn't right.
Like it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is it's frustrating. But yeah, we do need Sailor Moon games. We need an RPG. We need a fighting game. We need everything.
Apparently, their fighting game is still one of the best fighting games for the Super Nintendo. Like the Super S or something like that. Like people still play it at like tournaments and stuff like that. I'm not good at it, but I know people are really into it still.
Nice. Yeah, I did come across I think this another story, which is I think I want to say it's an RPG game. Yeah. And there's like a way you can download it online and play it. So I got to check that out one day.
It is.
I've heard it's not the best.
I mean, I think it's a great quarantine game because I remember it being super long and and not being like halfway done wherever I last stopped. I was just like, I guess I'm still doing this. It's
still here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone was here. I could pick whichever Sailor Scout I wanted, but I don't know when it's gonna end.
I did play one game one time, and it but like it was on the computer, and it like kept freezing at this one section, and I got pretty far, and I got mad, and I was like, whatever, I'm done with this game.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Was it like one of the punching ones, like the beat 'em ups?
No, it was like an RPG because I remember she was like you had to like go in a castle and like look around, but it kept like freezing like right when you had to get inside the castle, and I was like, I've spent like at least an hour into this game, like what's up, you know?
Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
And this was like on the computer like back in like 2000 and before 2008.
Oh man.
So like this is like not like fast internet necessarily.
No, you're doing your best with like a DSL or something.
Right. So like this is like you got to sit in front of like I'm pretty sure I didn't have a laptop at that point, like at a desktop computer, like playing this game. So that's like dedication just for reference. But yeah, we need Sailor Moon games for sure.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So you've been a comedian for how long now?
5 years. I mean, it's gonna be 6 this year, but this year kind of doesn't count for anybody.
Fair.
No, it's gonna be 6. I've done shows, so I've done in-person shows pre-pandemic, and I've done Zoom shows. So, yeah. So I 6. It's gonna be 6 in like a couple weeks.
Nice. That's awesome. Who are your favorite comedians?
Some of my favorite comedians, I will always be a Dave Chappelle guy, like top tier, number one. This question's become hard to ask because all the ones we answer because they all got in trouble.
Yeah.
So like I used to love Aziz Ansari and his bits are still very, very funny. However,
he is not a great person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like that now. Eliza Shelton, she's a great comic. Always a fan of her. You know what? I talk about comics that I do know that are not canceled yet. You should check out Nori Davis if you guys are looking for people who are new. Ify Wadiwe, another anime fan and great comic. Yodoye Travis, we got another one there. Rebecca O'Neill, Betsy Carroll, Ashley Gavin, and I'm gonna stop there.
Nice. Yodoye's who's doing Anime in America.
Yeah, he's all over the place, killing it.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah, I gotta check all of those. Everyone out.
No, they're all great.
Yeah. And then you also have your own podcast, Anything But Generic. How did that come about?
I do. It was interesting. My friend Victoria and I, we were supposed to make a wrestling podcast first. It was supposed to be like get drunk and watch wrestling. So I was like, cool. Those are two things I like to do. And then one day it turned into like a more adult like porn podcast. And Victoria, bless her heart, is the type that when she wants something, she'll go after it, and then you just kind of find out afterwards and follow the flow. So she was like, "All right, we're doing this," and I was like, "Oh, I already signed on, so let's keep going." And then once you actually go from concept to reality, it became a mix of everything. So it's like there's definitely some porn talk, there's pop culture, there's dating. There's wrestling. There's like a little bit of everything. We like to say it's like having a conversation like with your friends. You know how like, when you're out to dinner, you just talk about every little thing.
Yeah.
It's like that. And you're in the room with us. You're one of our friends. And the conversation is anything but generic.
Oh, I love that. I just put that together.
Thank you.
That is cool. I love it. It's a nice. That was a nice pitch you got there. It's anything but generic.
Well, I appreciate it. We've been on an extended hiatus, unfortunately, but we will be back in the near future. We're figuring that out.
Yeah.
Blame the pandemic.
Look forward to your return.
Thank you. I keep looking at my icon, and I just keep seeing Milhouse's dad on The Simpsons. Because he's got the red glasses and he's like bald.
Oh.
I got the can I borrow a feeling icon. I should have put my photo in here. Good thing you guys can't see it. But
yeah, he's talking about our podcast recorder. He's like he has like a generic icon who's just like a yellow guy with red glasses. Yeah, you're right.
He's Kirk Van Houten.
Yeah. That's so funny. I never even look at that. I think you have to create a profile in order to do it, to add a photo, but like at the same time it doesn't work if you make a profile and like you don't pay. It's weird.
There's always some problem.
Yeah.
Tech issues.
But it's cool. No one can see it but me. And I probably won't make fun of you.
No, I appreciate
Probably.
You can. Hey, Kirk Van Houten makes it happen. He's somebody who's made fun of a lot, so why not?
Yeah. Okay. And then he also started Click Productions, which is home for the Fun Factor. How did that come about?
That came about. We've been after I left. I was working in radio for years. After I left radio, you're on your own. You want to figure out things you want to do. I was already doing a wrestling comedy thing, a wrestling comedy based website called 3-Man Move, and I wanted to do the same with like video games. I wanted to have fun, and because you go online, you see a lot of these clips, or it's a lot of attack, or like who has the best like hit points and all that stuff. And I wanted to just make something that was like couch co-op stuff when you used to play with your friends and just have a great time. And that's when like the fun factor came apart. So my partner Drew and I, we can work together on it, and we like to say that it's like it's not about the kills or the combos, it's about the fun. It's the fun factor of the video game. That's what we say. Of course, we lose a lot. We lose a lot, and gamer rage definitely does come out. But we do want to focus on you having a good time watching us. We don't want you to be bored watching us. We want you to be entertained no matter what the game, whether it's Final Fantasy, whether it's Smash Brothers, whether it's the Sailor Moon RPG. We're going to try and make it as entertaining as possible naturally.
Yes.
Not like phoning it in.
Yeah, that is cool. I love that because you do get a lot of like competitiveness in video game streaming. And it's like, I just want to have some fun. I love the idea of like couch co-ops because that just sounds so cozy and fun.
Yeah, no, we my brother, he's on a lot of the couch co-op ones, like usually the live streams. We did Battletoads recently, so if you are a sadist and want to watch us hit a wall for like at least 100 times, by all means, please check that one out if you were a Battletoads fan.
I saw the name of that one. It was a pun off of WAP, but I'm forgetting what it was.
Oh yeah, there's some toads in this house.
There's some toads in this house. Yeah. That was hilarious. I was like, I need to watch that later.
Thank you. No, it's a lot. It's fun as long as you're having fun with it. That's what, and that's not a dig at the competitive gaming is awesome,
right?
But I know my strong points.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the Chun-Li Ken parrying like 20 hits. That's not going to be me. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, and sometimes the rage factor is fun in retrospect. So
we definitely have some. Do you play Smash at all? Smash Bros. Or any of those games?
Rarely. Okay. Like I'm more of like when I'm at a party, I play. When I don't have it, I don't own it myself.
Fair enough. We one of our biggest rages. We live streamed when the new Smash came back a couple of years ago, and we got up to Isabelle in Animal Crossing, and we're like, okay, we'll do this. We'll breeze do this, and she beat us up for at least an hour. There's an 8-minute compilation on there of us just like losing it because like she just keeps destroying us, and it's very fun to watch if you're not us. But
that's hilarious.
It's a good time.
I'm just thinking of Isabelle and her like sweet demeanor.
Oh, she's like, a demon. She's a demon. She may look sweet.
I believe it. It's funny you mentioned that because actually, sorry, not that, but the Sailor Moon game, you said you guys are going to try and do it. I just remembered that I think Xavier Woods, who does the Up, Up, Down, Down show, I think he played one of the games with Sasha Banks.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah. I love Up, Up, Down, Down.
Yeah, that's another cool name. And that's funny. You're a wrestling fan too, right?
I am. I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. It's right up there with like Dragon Ball and all that other stuff. It's really big.
There's definitely some overlap, I think, for a lot of people, like wrestling, anime, other like video games, comics, and stuff.
Yeah, even in stand-up, because you're kind of like putting your best version of yourself out there. So like, you're you with the volume turned all the way up, like they like to say in wrestling. So you're going out there and you're presenting your best self. It's kind of like you're cutting a promo. Yeah. But it's all jokes and you're not challenging somebody to a cage match.
Right. Do you have a favorite wrestler or a favorite storyline?
Favorite wrestler or favorite storyline? Like comedy, wrestlers keep screwing up. So I gotta
right, yeah.
So it gets,
I did see you got blocked by Hulk Hogan. I don't know.
I am justified. That man said some terrible things, and he knows what he did. I won't get into it on here.
You are completely justified.
Thank you. But I will say,
know what happens.
Yeah, two of my favorites of all time, or a few of them. The Undertaker will always be an all-time favorite. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Daniel Bryan is one of the newer guys. Sasha Banks, we talked about her a lot. She's great in the ring. Asuka is incredible, and also a big gamer and anime fan, manga fan. Who else? And there's this guy in AEW. I won't call him my favorite, but he's very popular. His name is Orange Cassidy, and he fights with his hands in his pockets. He looks like he never wants to be there. It's like an anime character come to life. And if you ever want to look up Orange Cassidy moments, it's a fun watch, even if you don't watch wrestling.
I'm gonna check that out. I want to get more into wrestling. I just don't. One day. I was at some point. I always joke like I was a fan of wrestling when it was like WWF.
Oh yeah. No, a lot of people fall off, and then
I fell off.
For whatever reason, I was just like, I'm gonna ride this one out, guys.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great. It's great storylines and characters, people. I love the show about wrestling, Glow.
Oh, Glow was an awesome show. I'm glad it's coming back for one more. It's just one of those shows that kept getting better. So I'm looking forward to seeing more Glow. I just found out recently the daughter, Mark Maron's daughter in the show, plays Tifa Lockhart in the new Final Fantasy remake, and I was like,
what?
I did not put that together, and I was like, okay, look at that range.
Neither. Yeah. But, I learned this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna ask, like, who did you like back in the WWF days?
Oh, mostly The Rock, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And then I forgot. I think his name was Rafiki.
Oh, Rikishi, yeah.
Rikishi, yeah. He was interesting. That's the only people I can think of right now. It was a long time ago. The Rock's only memorable one. So I remember my cousin was just like a really big fan of his, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just join in on this with you.
He was funny. He would just come out. He would make fun of everyone. He would win his matches.
Yeah, he had his little catchphrase.
Yeah, catchphrase.
The Rock is cooking. Yeah.
People's elbow, doing all that stuff.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
And now he's like the biggest movie star in the world.
Yeah, never saw that coming.
No one did. He's gonna play Luna in the live-action Sailor Moon. Watch, seriously.
Oh my god.
Dwayne Johnson as Luna. Like, okay, I guess.
I see it. No, actually, he wouldn't be a bad voice for Artemis.
You know what? He could be Luna, and Kevin Hart could be Artemis. So the two of them together would make a terrible. This is why I'm not in the casting meetings. But god. Or reverse him. Let Kevin Hart be Luna. He'd be like, here's a problem, Sailor Moon. it'd be really bad. That's
sadly better somehow. I don't know how. But the way that you just said it, I was like, I can see it.
See?
And I don't want to see it.
No one ever wants to see it, but it's possible.
It is possible. Your impressions are great too. I love your Tupac impression. Your Kevin Hart one was just great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I love your the one year like Tupac should have rapped about like seasonal allergies.
It would have been. I'm going through the seasonal allergies right now. If he did, I don't know. He would have been a hero to us.
Right, yeah. I mean, he has a lot of relatable songs. That could have just been another relatable track.
Al 12 and
I would have related. Yeah, I love that.
He didn't do it. Gangsters don't get allergies. It's a common fact.
I should have been a gangster.
I know. I tried.
If only I would have known I could breathe through the spring.
Right?
I would have tried a little bit harder.
No, I would have too. I would not have stayed at home and role played Sailor Moon online and done stuff. Right? Like that. I would have been tougher.
Yes.
It's okay.
Try to get some fights.
Exactly. We both came out perfect.
Yes, that's true. Hopefully that doesn't sound too.
Nah, we're good. Sans allergies. We came out perfect.
Right. Yeah, and other ailments that I won't mention.
Exactly.
Right. Back problems, etc.
Yeah. It's just getting old.
Yeah. Sadly. So we talked about wrestling. We talked about Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon. What else do you stand? So this is just like, doesn't just have to be nerd stuff. It could be anything. Like I love Beyonce. I love Boy Meets World. I love so many things. I
got, especially this summer, this quarantine, really into Degrassi.
Wait, the Next Generation or the new
one? The Next Generation and the one on Netflix. Like, because I watched them. I remember I was in high school and my friend was like, "You should watch this show." And like, Sailor Moon, I'm not watching this show. This is stupid. And then like I saw like the episode of 20-year spoilers, people, where the now Drake gets shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is just, they really go there, like they say in the commercials.
They do really go
there. Well, since they stick to it, I'm gonna start watching. And I watched it. I would watch it in between when I go to college, and then I'd come back and like there'd just be like the Degrassi marathons on, and then I like would just forget about it. And then they started showing it on this channel, Pluto TV, which just like has a running stream of Degrassi. So I was just like, why not? I'll just put it on in the background. And I remember some of these episodes, and then like the new people come in, I'm like, who are these new people? I don't care. Then the next thing you know, I'm like, I love Maya. Like,
why can't they just work it out?
Why can't they work it out? I want Zig and Maya to kill. So like the Degrassi no context Twitter is like my favorite Twitter to follow. They just post random things, and I know people are like following me for comedy, and they see me tweeting this stupid account. Which I'm like, oh, remember when Maya did the thing? And it's like, oh god,
that's so great.
But, it's fun. I love the show.
Yeah, I love Degrassi Next Generation. I was the person. My friend was like, you should watch this show, and I was like, I don't know. She was like, you should watch it, and I was like, okay.
And then it went
there. Yes, I got into it in high school. It did go there. Yeah, I was just like, whoa, people getting shot.
Right.
That's when I stopped though, because like one character, I guess spoilers. So did you watch all of Next Generation?
I watched all of Next Generation.
Okay, just making sure. So when JT
got
shot,
yep.
I couldn't watch it anymore. I was like, this show has broken my heart. I am done.
No,
I cannot do this.
It was really sad. Unfortunately,
so sad.
When I watch it on Pluto, when I like, because it's just the channel that it's always on for me.
Yeah.
I either catch the episode where Jimmy gets shot or JT gets stabbed. Like, there's no in between. I'm like, okay, because it's on a constant loop, and I guess I just keep coming around these same parts.
Oh, at the same moment, yeah, you're stuck in a loop.
Exactly. I'm like, can I just like see the other ones? But
sorry, nah.
Nope, they're like just the sad ones. Okay, fine.
Right. Yeah. Oh my god.
But no,
yeah, that show was good.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I was like 3 years late to the party. So like once the show ended on Netflix, I'm like, all right, so when's season 5? And they're like, there is no season 5. I'm like, what do you mean? No. Everyone was just working it out. So now I have to sit here with headcanons and stuff and
writing fan fiction.
Start writing some Degrassi fan fiction. Act for the Degrassi game. To the Degrassi RPG. Let's do it.
Oh my god, I'm mad I want a Degrassi RPG now. I would totally play it.
It would be awesome. You can see where everyone ends up, and you can. Right. It'd probably be like Dream Daddy or one of those games.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like I forgot what they're called, but the
choose your own like adventure game. We are hammering out these ideas for people.
I know, we're doing good.
Yeah.
Blue's Clues, Dream Degrassi video games.
Yeah, hire us, people. Hire us.
Yeah, that would be definitely. Yeah, I'd play that actually. I'm surprised that you haven't had like at least a mobile game or something.
There was probably like a Flash game growing up that was like really bad. That was like wheel Jimmy around or something weird like that.
Oh my god.
That no one, like, you know, computers were not there yet for most of us.
Yeah, neither was the guidance to tell us what are good things and bad things.
Exactly. We're just like, all right, it says Degrassi on it, so I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, it's like pick Paige's outfit.
Yeah, exactly. I remember there were a bunch of those games like growing. It was the pick Lizzie McGuire outfit or something like that, or something. Yeah, they should have did that with the WWE too. Like, pick the Undertaker's gloves. That would have been like, hell yes. Is he gray or purple today? But they didn't do that.
I probably would have stayed a fan longer if they had that.
Right? People always complain because they used to, and sometimes they still focus on the sexuality of the women and like bikinis and stuff like that. But if you're gonna make a catalog, you should make, these guys are ripped. Make a male catalog too. Like, there's an audience for it. Why not?
That's true.
They're all in shape except for like 5 of them. So go for it.
Yeah.
They're not thinking.
It seems to happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. And back to you. What is any advice you'd have for someone who wants to either start a YouTube channel or become a comedian or podcast?
For any of those things, either whether it's comedy or podcasting or YouTube, it's the biggest step is doing, and it sounds basic, is to do it and to know that it's going to suck at first and don't let it get to you. And it might not like be the worst thing, but like you're not gonna come off like your favorite comedian or favorite YouTuber or favorite podcaster. And I, need to remind myself of this all the time when something doesn't go right. You just gotta, the more you do it, the better it'll be, and the more you actually love it. If you don't love it, don't do it. But start it, and if you love it and you actually enjoy doing it, then keep doing it, and everything else will fall into place.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, I think that is so right. I always say like cliche advice is cliche for a reason, like because it works.
Yeah, no, it is. That's the thing. I've seen some old. It's been our 3 years of Fun Factor. I've seen some old Fun Factor stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how to talk. Like, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm like, I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to talk. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just like very low toned. And then, the more you get into it, you have your intros and you're more excited and you just get more comfortable doing it. Same with stand up. Like, my early stand up is like, hands were in my pockets so many times. And then I noticed, take your hands out of your pockets and Now they're pretty much not in my podcast, and the jokes are better. So it's a combination of both. So yes, please, go for it. And if you do start because of this advice, send it to me. I would love to check it out.
Ooh, that's awesome! Everyone, send your stuff to Kyle.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I agree. It's just do it. Like, I have writing that I look back on and I was like, this is horrible. But I'm like, yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. You did it. You started writing. You started podcasting. Like, you just had to do it.
You start somewhere. And even now with this podcast, like, where I started, like, I'm still, like, tweaking things as I go along. And, you know, I, like, changed, like, our YouTube picture. If anyone watches it on YouTube, like, you'll notice, like, I had, like, one, like, way I designed it. And I was like, I can do this better. I can do this better. So you learn as you go.
Exactly. And you just keep improving, and it's awesome.
Yeah. But then you reach your ultimate final form.
Exactly. Or you never do if you keep watching Dragon Ball. There's a new one every week. You're like, oh, there is no final. Now it's silver hair. Okay.
Right. It's blue.
Oh crap! It's blue now.
Yeah. And then just like Sailor Moon had her Sailor Moon Says phrase at the end of every episode when you were recording it on your VHS tapes, what would your phrase be? So Sailor Kyle
says, wear a mask and wash your hands so we can go out and see our friends again.
Yes. Please do that.
I'm sure that's been said earlier, but we got to constant remind people.
The sad thing is it's been said, I think, 2 times before, but it's been like at different stages of the podcast. It was like an episode in like April, then like another episode in like a few months ago. So like sadly still relevant.
So I should just be like, wear your mask, like yelling at them this time. Why are you not wearing the mask?
Why are you still not wearing it?
Damn it. There's no Sailor Moon character except for the Moonlight Knight. I could think of it to be a good description, but let's not talk about the Moonlight Knight. That wasn't very good.
Yeah. That was not a shining moment.
No, that was
no. Yeah, there is one episode though where Sailor Mars is sick and she comes.
Yeah.
She wears a mask, and that's been going around a lot lately.
Yeah, they have. I've seen people be like, "Well, she already was sick, so she already had." I'm like, shut up! She's wearing the mask. Wear the mask.
Yeah, she's protecting other people at least.
Yeah. I don't understand the people nerdy geek fandom who will support like superheroes and people who fight for what's right, and then not do the same thing in real life.
It baffles me.
It's just like how can you be like a fan of Sailor Moon or the Jedis or the X-Men and then be like, no,
right?
Okay.
I think about that too. Like people who are like racist or like don't care about other people. It's like, I'm not gonna wear a mask. It's like, but you were just watching My Hero Academia. Like, what? Did you learn nothing?
You learned nothing from the show unless you identify with the villains, and not all of them are terrible. They even one thing is Toga. She wears the mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And even the other guy, he has the hand over his face.
He got a whole ass hand on his face. Like, come on, guys, get it together.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sailor Kyle says, wear a mask and wash your hands.
So we can see our friends again.
Exactly.
Yes. And what is next for you, and where can people find you?
You can find me on all social medias at Keep It 5-Star, FIVESTAR, and YouTube.com says Keep It 5-Star for the fun factor. And if you want to catch up on anything but generic, just search anything but generic in any place you get your podcast, and we will show up. You'll see our awesome faces. And
where did Keep It 5-Star come from?
We were as a group. It's funny. We used to call ourselves CBT, which was like Creative Booking Team, which is the original name, which is like kind of like a wrestling name, like a weird name, but it also means something in the kink community, which we did not know at the time. And I remember I don't even know how I didn't talk about this. We ran we ran a cosplay contest for the Big Apple Anime Fest in like the early 2000s. Nice. So like I'm doing these like professional meetings as CBT, and then like the person I'm talking with was like, "What's your name?" Like we didn't realize like what it was, and then one day we like we decided to change it to 5-Star Entertainment because that's not taken anywhere. And keep in mind we were very young. And then so like I would just like start saying, hey man, keep it 5-star. It would just be like my sign off for stuff on people's like Facebook walls, which is just like, you know, whatever you do 5 stars, do your best. And that's it. It's a fancy way to say do your best.
I love it.
Thank you. You're making me feel so loved today.
Yay. Yeah, I try to give off, you know, the Sailor Moon vibes, you know, all love and justice.
You do a wonderful job.
Thank you. Also, I'll add your website is also awesome.
Oh yes.
As a person who also has a very common name, Victoria Johnson.
Oh.
Kyle Lewis was taken. It's like hilarious.
KyleLewisWasTaken.com, and now there's a baseball player who may or may not be killing it. It depends on the day. But I did get yelled at while during the protest. I got yelled at by some guy because I ruined his fantasy team, apparently. And I was just like, "Fuck your fantasy team, Steve," because like I thought he was just saying that, and then I remembered that like, oh yeah, the baseball player. So I've had it happen a couple of times where I've had friends be like, "You're doing real bad today," and I was like, "Well, if you know me in sports, it's very par for the course." So.
Yeah, that is funny. Luckily there are no famous Victoria Johnsons yet that I get yelled at for. So
you will be the famous Victoria Johnson.
Yes, other people will get yelled at for things I do. It's great.
Exactly. People will be like, "Where's your Sailor Moon podcast for the other Victoria Johnson?"
Right. What are you doing? There actually is a VictoriaJohnson.com. I think she's like a health fitness expert, and I'm just like, damn.
You should be unhealthyVictoriaJohnson.com. Should be.
You know, it really is part of it. It would fit with my brand.
There you go. It's the Sailor Moon brand. I don't know how she can eat. I mean, she's animated, but she can eat so much and so poorly. And I mean, I guess it's all the crime fighting.
It's the crime fighting and the 14-year-old metabolism.
That too. And I can only assume that transformation burns a lot of calories. It's a lot of energy going out.
Yeah. And she is like, because like she lives for a really long time. So I'm sure like there's some magic going on in her body that like allows for her not to be unhealthy.
Yeah. They do just rip on her about it all the time.
They do, yeah.
It's one of those things that doesn't age well. They're like, "Look at you, you're disgusting." And it's just like, no, she's not.
Yeah, she's actually really skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when rewatching the Hulu. I'm just like, they really get on her about like getting. I'm just like, well, first off, she's really skinny. Also, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like leave her alone. Y'all just mad y'all not eating.
Right? Like you wish you could eat like this.
Right? I wish I could eat like that.
I wish I could eat like that too. Every time I'm just like, that looks so good. I want everything.
Anime food is not fair. It's not fair when you see it. You're just like, oh man.
It's not at all. Yeah. Now I want ramen.
It's a good call.
Yes. Oh, it's a good call. But on that note, thank you again for coming on the show. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had fun too. And once again, I'm Victoria L. Johnson. You can find the podcast at Sailor Moon Fan Club anywhere you search. You know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you can. We really appreciate it. And you can find the podcast at Moonies Club on Twitter and Moonies_Club on Instagram. And thanks for listening, Moonies. And thanks, Kyle, for coming on the show again.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.